Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Play Arts Kai God of War 3 Kratos. Now my second Play Arts figure, I initially had already reviewed the Batman Arkham City Catwoman and loved that figure. I already had the Kratos on order. He's finally arrived, couldn't wait to get him opened up. On the front of the package we have a picture of Kratos, looking very, very impressive. I love the box art. I think the box art is really nice. Now granted, that is the figure that you're seeing on the front of the box. Looks like the Blades of Athena in his hand. Really nice. I mean, definitely really, really nice. On the side, there's not really a lot going on. On the back, you can see the Kratos figure posed in several different poses. This is official, by the way, PlayStation product, as indicated down below there. Now, one thing that's nice about this is the same that it was with the Catwoman. You can open it up. So if you don't necessarily want to take your figure out of package, sure enough, he is right there to enjoy, to appreciate. The read-up on the side, let me see if I can read it here. Probably won't read up all of it because it is awfully long. It says, God of War, the city of Sparta was known throughout the ancient Greece for its brave and fierce soldiers, but one man stood above them all, infamous warrior Kratos. Renowned for his strength and skill, Kratos led the armies of Sparta victory after victory. Their world was of glory, but as much as Kratos enjoyed the rush of battle, his thoughts would often return home to his beloved wife, Lysandra, and daughter, Calliope, and the joy that they brought to him. Again, there's a very long read-up, so I'm not going to read all of it, but you'll have to read it when you get the figure. But needless to say, there's Kratos right there. I certainly can't wait to get this opened up. What I am going to do is take a bit of a break, going to get this opened up, and when we come back, yes, we are going to have a better look at Kratos. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Once you get him out of the package, you can see that Kratos is a gorgeous figure. He's not perfect, but he's pretty good. He is definitely pretty good indeed. Before we actually have a look at the figure, why don't we actually have a look at the accessories that come with the figure. For starters, it does come with two alternate hands. One alternate hand right there. You can see that currently he is holding, well, he's not holding his own hands, but currently you see he's got two opened hands. Now he does also come with the alternate hands, which would be more likely suitable for holding the Blades of Athena or the Claws of Hades, both of which are included. I'm likely, even though I love the way these hands are sculpted, I'm likely going to change them out and put these hands in just so, well, obviously he can hold the Blades of Athena, which to me is as iconic to Kratos as really his overall design. The other accessory that he does come with, well, we'll get into that in a second. He does also come with the Claws of Hades here. A nice addition, the fact that they included these. I don't know how many people will actually have them displayed with the pieces on. I'm not likely to do so. I'm glad that he does at least come with them. For me, the real draw again is having him with the Blades of Athena. The one good thing about these is the hardest part with some figures is if you choose certain weapons that those figures are going to hold, then the question always comes, well, what are we going to do with these extra accessories? In this case, what are we going to do with the Claws of Hades? Well, sure enough, Play Arts did think of that. If you turn the figure around, there is actually, way at the top there is a little peg hole. You see that? Right there. No, it's not from a spear. You can actually take... He comes with this as well. And it's just a little extra dowel of plastic, but you can peg it into his back. I don't suspect you have to peg it in very far, and you have something like that. Now you can take the Claws of Hades, and you'll see that there is a hole that goes all the way through. You're going to actually line those holes up, and it's entirely up to you, I suppose, which way you want to do this. You can have him holding them. Well, not really holding them. They're kind of just going to be stuck on his back. And take the other one. Again, there's that little hole. I see you. Right there. And we will plug that into place. And just like that, you can actually have him holding, well, not so much holding, but at least carrying the claws of Hades. That is a nice touch. Now, realistically, we don't even know how that would stay on his back. You can also do the exact same thing. Oh, there's another hole there. You can also do the same thing with the Blades of Athena. Now, I'm not going to do that with the Blades of Athena, but certainly the claws of Hades, yeah, I'm definitely going to have him displayed with those likely in his back. Just going to take these off for a second. As Spa's already indicated, he does also come with the Blades of Athena, a standard weapon for Kratos. The detail is nice. I love the detail that they put on the Blades of Athena. I will say, though, if I can make a critique to the blades seem a little stumpy. They seem like they almost should be like about there. And I almost feel like with the NECA figures, when they did the Kratos figures, the blades almost seemed like the appropriate length. Again, they should probably be about there. I feel like the Blades of Athena here seem a little too short. But the detail certainly is all there. I think they did a top-notch job. Fantastic, fantastic job. Now also, aside from the fact that he does have the peg holes here, as I've already indicated, the peg holes to have this pegged onto his back, you can also take that same peg hole, and I'm pretty sure it's right there. It doesn't seem to be another one. But you can take that peg hole, and he does also come with a chain. And I'm just double checking here. Nope, Spot's not wrong. I don't think he's wrong. There is that peg hole there. The chain itself is, well, for starters, it's metal. It's a nice metal chain, and there's a little, like almost a little plug. Can you see that? A little plug on the end. What you're actually going to do is you're going to take that plug and you're going to plug it into the handle of the blade, like so. You can also then take that other end, and there's a corresponding plug right there. Can you see it? Zoom in. Okay. Right there. See that? And what you can do, on the sides of Kratos, there are, I think they're actually on the bottom. It's a little harder to see because I was just looking at it a moment ago. Oh, there it is, there it is. It's actually on the underside of his arm. Can you see that? See that peg hole right there? You can actually then take the other blade tip. I'm trying to do this all in camera here. And you can peg. It's not the easiest when you've got such a small plug. But you can peg it into his arm. Spot's having a real fun time actually trying to peg this in here. These cursed piano playing hands, I'm telling you. I knew they'd do me in sooner or later. The idea though is you can peg it into place. You've got then the chain, and you can have them holding the Blades of Athena. Now the beauty of it too, because the chains match the gauntlets, or the chain-made gauntlets wrapped around there, because they match, you could simply take the chain and wrap it around whatever you're not using. You could dangle it just a little extra, and you can change out the hands. Actually, let's change the hands out right now. The hands are on a peg. Just going to do a little bit of a wiggling, and there's the peg right there. Same thing I said for the Catwoman, I'm going to say for Kratos. I'm a little worried with the pegs as to how fragile they actually are. Now, some have said they're actually not too bad, but still some bit of caution I'm going to make to having those pegged in. With the hands, let's zoom back a bit here. With the hands as they are, let's take the Blades of Athena and put it in his hand. Now, the blade's handles are a lot broader. I'm hoping there's a little bit of a give. Now, that's really one thing they should have done. They should have made the handles separate from themselves so that you can actually get the handle into place. You know what? Hold on one second. Well, a little bit of finessing. Spot got into place. You can see the chain right there. Chain connecting to the handle of Blades of Athena. Chain also connecting to his arm, or as part of the chains of his arm. There is some excess, a little bit of excess hanging. As Spot had already mentioned, you could wrap this around and just have it kind of looser or a little more tighter around the actual sleeve bit here. But it's nice. It is nice. Again, my big problem was like just getting it in his hand. The handle they should have made so that you could actually peg apart the handle, slide it through his hand, and then peg the other base in. Because it's an awfully broad handle. I'm a little worried with how hard that was to get into his hand. The last thing you want to do is start breaking off the hand on a $50 to $60 figure, which is essentially what Kratos is here. I won't put the other one in, but you guys get the gist of it. Having a look at the actual figure, let's just move all these accessories out of the way. Having a look at the actual figure, I think he is done well. As I mentioned in the beginning of the review, he's not perfect. He's not a perfect figure, but he's a pretty good looking Kratos figure. Let's zoom into his face. And face-wise, I think elements are all there. As I kind of felt like when I was reviewing the Catwoman, it's pretty good, but I don't feel like it's absolutely perfect. I would hate to start using comparisons as I am, but I find NECA really captured the likeness of Kratos. Play Arts, on the other hand, while we get a really, really impressively large figure, I think at the end of the day, I don't think his face works as well. For starters, it's way too dingy. Now, I would not want Kratos to be completely stone white. I would like a happy medium. I mean, they have put some nice additional washes on the figure itself, but I find when it comes to his face almost gets lost in all the paint that they've applied to it. Even the red on the side of his face there gets lost by the fact that he's got all this extra gray in it. I'm also pretty sure Kratos has like really, really big eyebrows. I don't know, that's such a small comment to make. But again, I just feel like some of the details get so lost in this figure that it almost doesn't bear resemblance to Kratos. It resembles what the idea of Kratos would be, not necessarily the likeness of Kratos. Chest-wise and everything else is done exceptionally well. The sculpt is done perfectly. His skirt, as it were, or what have you, is done really, really well also. And he's got some really neat paint applications done in his lower shin guards and also in his wrists. And I would say that the armor is done exceptionally well. But then I think just when it comes to the overall tone and complexion of the skin tone, I just feel like it gets too lost in making the tone, the paint wash, so detailed as it was. If they had just made it a slight bit more whiter, I think the Kratos details almost would have stood out a little bit better. Instead, he seems a little too dark. One other thing I have problems with, and it's not a huge problem because you're not going to see it too often, but the way his arm is pegged. He has actually looks like a double pin in his shoulder. You can see obviously there's a big gap where his shoulder piece goes. I find it's a little loose too, which is a bit of a shame. But then his actual, right under here, I don't know if you can see it, but right in there, you see it? Right in there, it's not his armpit, there is that peg that joins that secondary piece. This would be the peg that is connected to his shoulder and then plugs into that inner secondary peg that swivels out. The fact that you can see that, I'm concerned with that being a problem in time. It may not be an issue, but I'm just saying that that could be a problem posed later on as you have this figure. This arm isn't as bad, but you can still make out that that joint is in there. As a whole, though, he is just a solid figure. In the way of his articulation, Kratos does have, well, he does have a removable head. Let me just pop that back into place there. He does have a ball-jointed head. And actually, you get lots of movement in his head. As for his shoulders, his arms go back and forth, out, and then there is also that secondary hinge. A hinge that's become very prevalent with the the original Marvel Legend figures. Never which a joint that I always found was necessary, but I'm glad they put it in there. As for, he's got an upper torso bend, which also looks like it is on a ball joint. He is also swiveled in the waist. As for his legs, they go forward, back, out. Rotation in the upper thigh, actually right around there. He's got a double bend, ratcheted joint in his knee. And then he's also got a hinged foot, which also has a very disconcerting, ratcheted sound to it. It feels like it's going to break off, but I mean, you can get him definitely in a lot of cool poses. And you know what? I think Spot completely forgot his elbows. He does have ratcheted elbows. They rotate back and forth, around, back and forth, and around. He also does rotate in the hand. So again, like, you get some really cool poses out of him. I find the only weakness that this figure does have is a better likeness of Kratos. Done really, really well. I mean, by no stretch of the imagination am I saying, like, you know, if you're a God of War fan, for starters, I would say if you're a God of War fan, this is a definitive God of War Kratos figure to pick up. He's not the best, and I still think by comparison, and I don't have him here unfortunately at the moment, but by comparison, I almost feel like NECA's did a better job on the face, but over the overall execution, I find this figure works extremely well. You really could not do wrong by picking up a figure like this. Just, again, I wish the likeness on his face was just a little bit better and the paint wasn't as heavy as it is. Still, Kratos, I'm going to give him a very solid 9.5. I can't knock the figure that much. I mean, he is done exceptionally well. Today's Toy Spot, we're looking at the Play Arts Kai, God of War 3, Kratos. A solid figure, definitely worth checking out. Speaking of checking out, certainly check out this channel for future reviews. Certainly more spots are heading your way. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. And just one other thing I want to tack onto this video is that his shoulders, which is something I really didn't touch base on, even though it does move back and forth and he has that slight in and out, the arms also have this weird pose where they can drop a lot lower, and it's likely due to that secondary hinge. Not really sure why you're going to necessarily have it like that. I mean, you could kind of have Kratos with his arms down, but it kind of makes the figure look like his arms are broken to the extent where I'm likely to have the arms more so up. Having this option is good. Not really sure we need it though. But there you go, guys. Certainly still a solid figure. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.